it's Rebecca from Rebecca Inc. Today we are going to draw this cow. Thank you, Susan Crum, for the suggestion. It was a great idea. What you need to join in is a pencil, a marker, an eraser, or you can use the back of your pencil eraser, and a piece of paper. All right, you're going to grab your pencil. I'm going to move my guide. You're going to grab your pencil. I'm going to use a marker so that you can see what I'm doing better, and we're going to get started on our drawing. Today your paper is going to be oriented this way, vertically, and we are going to start in the upper portion of our paper so that our cow's nose has room to live here. So let's start right about here with an oval. You're going to get your whole arm going from your shoulder, and you're going to draw a nice oval that lives right about here on your paper. If you'll notice, my oval is not perfect. I go around and around and around to get that shape, and you're going to do the exact same thing, and in the long run you end up with a nice oval shape. From that oval, let's add on. We are going to draw a triangle on the edge of that oval. So from this corner of the oval down and this corner of the oval down, we're going to get our triangle. So I am going to actually move my whole arm again, just like that. Get your triangle going there. Can you see that shape? I'm going to add in the top. You don't have to draw this line, but just so you can see, that shape right there is a triangle. To give myself another guide, I'm going to draw a dividing line right through that triangle. So if you want, do the same. You are going to start right in the middle there, or about the middle, and you're just going to simply move your whole arm. Set your pencil down and move your whole arm. It doesn't line up exactly. Maybe yours doesn't either. That's okay. We're not going to worry about it. It's just a little guide for ourselves for later on, and this will all make sense in the long run. So off to either side of that triangle, we are going to add in a few larger ovals. They're going to be almost the length of that triangle there. I'm going to start up there and go down. And just let that back part of the oval live alongside that triangle. Just like that. One on that side, around and around. See how it's messy? That's okay. In the long run, what we're going to do is trace over our favorite lines with our marker. So all of this will end up getting erased. So let it happen. Don't judge yourself. Don't worry about it too much. We're just needing the general idea of some ovals there. Inside these ovals, we're going to draw a series of circles. They're going to live just about 3/4 of the way down. The inside of those circles will be about that big. All right, round and around and around we go. I'm getting my whole arm going from the shoulder, and I'm drawing in that circle. Same thing on the other side. Round and around we go. Just like that. Very good. We're going to stick out just a little bit outside of that oval. Inside that circle, along the edge, let's draw another circle. Now for this one, because it's a little smaller, I'm planting my wrist this time and just using my fingers, going around and around, and when I get that shape, I set my pencil down. You set your pencil down. Now we're going to do, just like we've done before, where we kind of slice through that circle. This circle will end up being our cow's eye. So we are going to go from the base of that bigger circle, plant your wrist, just draw a nice arc that kind of cuts through the littler circle that we drew. If you plant your wrist and then you just move your hand, it's going to give you that nice arc naturally. You're just moving with the natural motions that your body's going to go in. Same thing with this other one. Now you are welcome to move your paper. I would normally rotate my paper, but I don't want to do that because I've got this set up. I don't know if you've seen my cool system that I have now, but I don't want to mess it up so you can't see what I'm doing in the long run. So I'm not going to move my paper, but if you need to move your paper to get that arc, go for it. Let's go back up. On either side of this top oval, we're going to draw what will be our ears. So we're going to do an oval that lives right about here, and it's going to be just about this big, just like that. Round and around we go, again, whole arm. And on the tip of that oval, we are going to draw a triangle, just like that. And inside the very tippy tip of that, I'm going to do a little circle. Because their ears aren't really pointed, they kind of curve. That circle is going to help us get that shape. I'm going to do a connecting line right there at a diagonal over to the head. Same thing on the other side. Let's get a nice oval living just a little bit away this time. Just like that, round and round you go. I want to focus one more time on this does not have to be perfect. Please don't stress about making it perfect, okay? On the end of that, let's add in a triangle. I always like to say that it doesn't have to be perfect, because I remember when I was younger really worrying about like, oh, it's not where I wanted that to be. It's not coming out how I wanted it. It will, and we're just going to let it be fun, okay? No erasing. All right, little tiny circle at the end of that triangle. Now if you want to see that whole triangle, if you're not getting it, I'm going to fill in those lines so you can see. So we did a bigger oval with a triangle and then a little circle at the very end to help us round out that shape. Now on this ear, we're going to draw another diagonal connecting it over to the head. And since it isn't so close on the bottom, we're going to do another one right here, this direction. That's this time. Okay, below our eye circles, we are going to draw a rectangle that's about like this. Just inside, maybe go from like the middle of your eye circle down. And it's going to be about this big. Over. And back up. You see that rectangle coming into play there? I'm going to draw the top part. You don't have to draw this line, but if you want to, you can. That just shows you where I'm getting that shape I'm describing to you. There's that rectangle there. It lives right there. Now we're going to do some little tiny connecting triangles from the top part of that rectangle. A little connecting triangle, just like that, up to that eye. Same thing, from the edge of that circle, just draw a nice little triangle going down onto the face. All right, now let's go back up. In between where we've got these bigger circles here for the eyes, we're going to come right down from the edge of that and do a rectangle the other direction. So we did one horizontally, now we're going to do one vertically. And it's going to come down from the corner of that eye to right about here and over. Can you guess what part that's going to be? We're headed down to the nose. Just to give you a hint, that's where that shape is. Just going to check my video, make sure you're able to see the lines I'm drawing. Okay, now let's do some connecting triangles. So from the corner of this rectangle, we're going to connect up to this. Just like that, draw a nice line that goes down, connecting those two shapes. You see where that made a triangle there? Just like that. Same thing on the other side. Now if you notice, this triangle is bigger than this one. That's okay. If yours is opposite, or if they ended up being the same exact size, awesome. I ended up with one a little bit bigger than the other. That is okay. At the base of that rectangle we just drew, we're going to add in another rectangle. It's going to be smaller, about this size here. You see that shape? Just like that, about that big. We're going to have a rectangle. Inside that rectangle, we are going to draw an oval at the base. It's about this big. It's kind of small. And then right above that oval, we're going to draw the nostrils. So just like we did yesterday, I think that was yesterday, my days are blending together. We're going to do, yeah, we did that yesterday, an oval with a little oval right above it, angled, and then this one, angle it the other way, oval, the little oval. Very good. Now we're going to do two more triangles from this corner where this rectangle and this rectangle meet. We're going to draw a little triangle coming out, about that big, and connect it over. Same thing on the other side. little triangle there, out, and then over. Let's add in a few more details. On our eye, we're going to need a highlight. So inside the little circle that we drew, let's add another little circle. Now keep in mind, where you draw these highlights is going to kind of give the direction your cow is looking. So if you do them on like the far outside, your cow's going to look a little crazy. If you do them in the middle, it's going to look like he's looking forward. If you put one on the outside of this one on the inside of this one, it's going to look like he's looking that direction. So those highlights are going to give some direction to where your cow's looking. Now we need to add in a few organic shapes. Our cow is going to have black ears and then some black coming down its face. For those ears, we're going to add in just like some random little shapes here where that connector line is into that oval, and then we're going to stop there. It's going to connect right into this eye. Same thing on the other side. Now when I was little, this is kind of how I drew grass. You're just going up and down some random little shapes. There's really no right or wrong way to do that. If you would like your cow to have curls, give him some curls. Any way you do that, it's going to be perfect. All right, moving on from there, our cow has some dark spots on its face, and they're going to live around the top part of this oval. And nice, just kind of random. If your hand shakes, that's going to add to how cool these look. I'm just kind of going down the face and tucking in at that last little spot on that rectangle where the triangle and the rectangle meet up. Same thing on this side, around that eye shape, onto kind of the bridge of the nose, some nice organic shapes. Those are going to be filled in black. Believe it or not, you have got all the amazing things that we need to draw a cow. So let's switch over to our marker. I'm using a Sharpie. You can use any kind of marker that you want. I love a good Sharpie, but if you're using, you could even use a pen, just something that you can't erase. I've seen some really fun drawings in gel pens. That's cool. So whatever you want to use, just something you can't erase. And we're going to start on the top part of our cow's head, just like we did with these organic shapes that we drew around the top. We're going to do that around the top here. Now this part on our cow is white. So it's just kind of an outline. Our little guy has some messy fur, so I'm just kind of going up and down and back and forth and just giving a hint of that fur there. No right or wrong way to do that. If you want to make it smooth and just go over it like that, feel free to do that. But I wanted it to have a little bit more dimension, so I'm letting it have some messy fur. From there, we're going to go around our ears. So this connecting diagonal line, follow that, and then we're going to go around the top part of that oval, onto the triangle, and around that little circle. So let's do that part. Plant your wrist and just follow over those lines you've already drawn. You have already done all the heavy lifting, so just simply trace around the outside of your shapes. Try not to sketch. Try to just trace around. If you need to do a little bit and stop and move your hand, you can do that. Let's go back up to the other ear and do the same thing. Diagonal line, top part of that oval, onto our triangle, around that little circle, back down the triangle, back around that oval, and back up to the face. So good, you guys. Let's draw over our organic shape at the top there where those ears connect in. It's going to make it look like our cow's got some messy hair there. Inside here on my guide, I drew a couple little marks like this, up and down, to just give the hint of some messy fur there. You can do that or you can skip it. Either way is fine. Now let's draw the rest of our guide. Let's go around this oval. We're going to go down around the oval to the eye, and we're going to stop. Down around that oval to that eye. Let's go ahead and draw in that arc that we drew. Let's trace over that. nice and bold, trace over that. And then we're going to trace over the circle that we see there, that littler circle, just like that. And then we're going to draw in just a little bit of that bigger circle, which connects over to that arc we just drew. So good. Let's go ahead and fill it in. So we're going to circle that highlight. That part's going to stay white. And then outside that, fill in that circle, that little bit of the circle we see. Fill that in dark. Same thing on the other side. Pick your favorite lines. Draw over your arc. I can tell already I was talking and my eyes are not going to line up, but that's okay. You get the gist. Trace around that little circle and fill it in. Let's add in that top part on this eye, going up and down, just like that. Now we're going to go down the face. Connecting triangle onto the rectangle, connecting triangle, and stop. Trace right on down those lines. Very good. Same thing on the other side. Down you go. Very good. Now we're going to go around the edge. This is going to be like the snout of the cow. As I'm doing these tutorials, I realize I probably don't know all of the terms I should be using for all these animals, but we're going to go around this triangle and then right across that bottom line, back up and connect. Now if you wanted to go up that way, you can, but for some reason it felt better for me to stop and come back down. So you decide what feels good to you and do that. Now for the mouth, we're just going to show this little bit of that oval. We're just going to do the bottom portion of that. So go ahead and draw over the bottom portion of that. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, and then I'll know. Okay, let's add in some details here. Let's go up to the eyes for 1 second. Now our eyelashes for our cow, we are going to touch our marker, that arced line that you just drew. Trace over that one more time so it'll be darker with your marker. From that line, we are just going to flick out this direction, and it's going to end up coming over over our pupil there. I'm looking at the shapes and trying to say words. It's proving tricky. Touch it and flick it out. Your eyelashes actually live over your eyes. So just like that, that gives that eye some dimension. Same thing on the other side. Trace over that arc one more time to make it a little darker with your marker. And then touch and flick from that arc your eyelashes out. See how that makes them live right over your eye? They may even go a little bit over your highlight. Perfect. That gives it all some dimension. Now my arc went a little bit further over than my oval, so I'm going to add in one little connecting line there, a little connecting triangle. If yours did that, go ahead and add in that same thing. Now we are ready to color in some of our shapes. On this larger rectangle that we drew right here, we're going to go over this line a few times just to make it darker. Right here in about the middle of that, just pick a spot and just go over that line a few times. Same thing on the other side. This is going to help when we color it in. This will end up being darker. Same thing down here where that rectangle meets up with the connecting triangle. Let's make a little bit darker line there and a little bit darker line there. Oh, let's do our nostrils and then we'll do our organic shape there. For the nostrils, you're going to trace around the edges of both of those shapes, and together they're going to give you the shape of that nostril. It's like two little ovals stacked on top of each other. They're like a rounded teardrop. Let's go back up over the eye, and where you have your organic shape, that's going to be the dark spots on our cow. Go ahead and trace over where you had those living. Just like that. Mine lived like right there on that eye, and on this side of the face it lived right about here. Your shapes are probably going to look a little bit different than mine, and that's perfect. It's your drawing. Let's add in a few spots where it's going to end up being darker when we color it in. Where we had that larger circle around our eye, trace over the back edge of that just a few times, like maybe 3 times. Go over that, because this is all going to get colored in black. But if you go over it a few times, when you color it in, those will pop out a little bit more. They'll be a little darker. All right, let's fill in that whole area nice and black. There is no right or wrong way to do this, and if you wanted to fill this in with colored pencil or crayon or something else later on, you could do that. You could be done. But because I like ink, I'm going to go ahead and do it with the ink. I'm just doing a little up and down. Now you see where I had traced over that? I don't know if it's translating on my camera, but it's a little bit darker, and I can see that it's a little bit darker. There's no right or wrong way to trace over these lines or to fill this in. I'm just doing it as quick as I can. So if you want to do it a little slower, pause me, color it in, or pause me, go get your colored pencils or crayons or whatever you wanted to use and fill in those shapes. Where I had my darker lines, I'm again just going over those a few more times just to add some dimension to my drawing. Hoping you can see all this. Okay, let's fill in the ear. This whole ear is also black. No right or wrong way to fill that in. If you like to do nice long motions like that, feel free. If you like to go in circles, go in circles. If you want to do it randomly like I'm doing, do that. If you accidentally go outside your line, don't stress about it. Just make your outline a little wider and fill it in. We're working with living things, so they're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be completely symmetrical. One ear might have a little waver that the other ear doesn't have, or it might be a little thicker than the other one. So sometimes your mistakes are the things that end up giving your drawing character. I like to call them happy accidents, and every drawing that I do, if you've watched any of them or seen any of them on my Instagram or my website or even on this page further down, you'll see very intricate. So mistakes happen, and then they end up shaping my drawings and making them what they are. So they're cool. Let your mistakes be happy accidents instead of mistakes. Guess it's a lesson in changing your mindset. We're getting a lot of those lessons lately. Alright, fill this in. Now if you wanted to give your cow some lower eyelashes, you could do that too. Where we had that bottom circle, that larger circle, you could just touch and flick out from there to give your guy some lower eyelashes if you wanted to. Filling this all in. I can't wait to see what you drew, so make sure you send me pictures of what you drew in the comments below. And if you want to see all the pictures people are sending me or see yours, you can go on my website, Rebecca Ink, I-N-K, RebeccaInk.com, and click on the Interact tab, and you'll see all these amazing pictures people are sending me. It's really fun to see. We're almost done, guys. Fill in that last ear. If I'm coloring faster than you're coloring, pause me, fill in your ear, hit play when you're ready, and I'll be right here. I'll probably still be coloring in this ear. Alright, almost done. You just drew a really cute cow. Alright, switch back to your eraser. I'm going to go to my guide because I drew this one with pencil. Grab your eraser. It doesn't have to be a white eraser. Maybe you have a pink eraser from school, or the back of your pencil works just fine. Make sure you hold down your paper to steady it. And then go ahead and erase over your pencil lines. I'm hitting that oval and that center triangle there. All of these shapes that I break your animals down into help give your animals some depth. So hopefully you drew something you're proud of. I bet you did. I can't wait to see. Send me in the comments. I'll put them on my website. Pictures of what you drew. If you would like some more activities, you can go on my website, RebeccaInk.com. Make sure you click on Interact, see what people are sending me, and you can also find some downloadable coloring pages on there. And you can follow me on Instagram at RebeccaInkBink. Send me ideas on what you want to draw next, and I'll see you tomorrow. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. See you soon. Bye.